Hey everybody, welcome to this short masterclass. My name is Tim Schur, and today we are talking about how to get organized when you're working from home or whether you're at the office or on the job. So since COVID hit a year ago, many people find themselves working from home. And we're converting our living rooms, our basements, our spare bedrooms into our workspaces. And a lot of times people say, I'm having trouble getting organized, or I'm having trouble creating, prioritizing, or I'm having trouble keeping up with all the emails that I'm getting, or I'm having difficulty because I keep getting burned out, from doing the same stuff over and over, and or feeling like I'm never getting anywhere. I finish, answering 20 emails and I got another 20 emails waiting for me. And these are common struggles that everybody deals with. And so what I have found is that the approach, the number one method for getting more organized, really has nothing to do with using a spreadsheet or setting timers or using Outlook or anything like that. The secret is upgrading the belief that you have about the situation. Now, you know that I'm a bit obsessed with unconscious beliefs. Beliefs are these rules, these ideas that are in our mind that cause us to think, feel, and behave in specific ways. So if you have a belief that you get things done and you're on top of it and you're like a cat, no matter what life throws at you, you always land on your feet, then you're going to feel more calm and more resourceful, and you're going to be able to figure things out. But if you have a belief that I'm overwhelmed, I'm never going to get done, there's no light at the end of the tunnel, that it's just going to get worse, then it's going to cause you to feel overwhelmed. You're going to procrastinate. You're going to push away from the situation. Instead of leaning in, you're going to be leaning back. Or you're going to be finding yourself going into the kitchen looking for something to eat, and eating becomes a distraction. And so a lot of times people will come in to my office, or we'll do Zoom sessions, and they always say, this is the problem that I'm having. And I will tell them that what you're doing is you're solving the wrong problem. We're trying to figure out how to organize our time, how to organize our space, how to stay out of the kitchen, how to get caught up, how to keep from burning out. And we're looking for some kind of strategy for managing our time or changing the way that we are behaving, when really what we should be looking for is the belief that's kicking it all off. What is the root cause of the way that I'm thinking, or the way that I'm feeling, or the way that I'm behaving? What's the root cause of it? Now, some people might say, well, the root cause of how I'm feeling is the pandemic, and I haven't been able to go to work for a year, and I miss a social interaction. But that's not actually the root cause of someone feeling burned out or someone feeling overwhelmed. The root cause has to be, turns out, is the belief, the unconscious belief about what they think it means. Well, it means that, it's always going to be this way, and I'm always going to feel overwhelmed, or I'm always going to feel like I'm missing that social interaction, or it's never going to improve. Things are never going to go back to the way that they were. Or it causes us to doubt ourselves. The beliefs that we have cause us to feel like we're not going to be smart enough to figure it out, or that, somehow in some way, I'm not going to be enough. I'm not enough. Our biggest human fear is that I'm not good enough. And because I'm not good enough, I won't be able to find a solution. And that means I'm going to be stuck this way, or bad things are going to happen. I'm going to get so backed up that I'm going to end up getting in trouble, and then I'm going to lose my job, and then I'm not going to be able to pay my bills. And then the fear ends up being that I am unsafe because I won't be able to pay my bills. Right. And so that's a whole other fear, that I'm not safe. And when I don't feel safe, I have a hard time showing up. I have a hard time focusing. I have a hard time following through. And so once we start to uncover what the unconscious beliefs are, then everything else starts to fall into place. Because I told you that a lot of times we try to solve the wrong problems. When we upgrade the beliefs and we solve the right problem, then all of a sudden people find their own strategies. They often don't need a new strategy. They need to trust themselves and go within and find that the answers are already inside of them. But a lot of times we don't trust ourselves, or we're not looking for the answers inside of us because we feel like we don't have any answers, or we can't trust ourselves enough. So we got to somehow find the answers that are outside of us. And I will tell you that every time I help someone to get into a resourceful state of mind and help them go from I can't do this to I can, from I'm not good enough to I am good enough, when I ask them the question of how would you approach this situation from this resourceful state, they always have a brilliant answer, an answer that would have been even better than the one that I might have provided for them, right? So they'll say, well, in this situation, if I was feeling more resourceful, I would just take a look at all the activities that I have, and then I would prioritize and figure out what are the biggest, situations or areas that I need to be able to work through or conquer. Or if I'm working with clients and I've got a $10,000 client, I've got a $5 client, where I need to take care of both of those clients, but I'm probably going to focus on taking care of the $10,000 client first, just because, they have, they're a more high value client. They're not a more high value human being, but they, $10,000 versus $5, you focus on your better paying clients first, right? And then you take care of everybody. So once people get resourceful, once people get into that state of mind where they are feeling more calm, where they're feeling secure, where they're feeling more confident about their abilities, then the answers that they were looking for come from within. Okay, so let's try to break this down. Well, we're not going to try. Let's break this down into some simple steps. Okay, so step number one is you ask yourself, what would I have to believe in order to feel the way that I'm feeling right now? What would I have to believe in order to feel overwhelmed or burned out or stressed, or that I'm unorganized, or that I'm not good with time management? What would I have to believe in order to feel that way? And then write it down on a piece of paper. I'd have to feel like, things aren't getting done, or, look, I'm not organized. I'm all over the place. I don't know where to start. I'm making mistakes. I'm getting in trouble, right? So I'd have to believe, well, that's happening. Well, what else would you have to believe about yourself to feel that way? Well, I guess I'd have to believe that it's always going to be this way, or that it's going to get worse, or that I don't know how to figure it out. Well, what would you have to believe about yourself in order to think that you're not going to be able to figure it out? Well, I guess I'd have to believe that I'm not smart enough to do this on my own. What would you have to believe in order to feel like you're not smart enough on your own? I don't know. I guess I'd have to believe that I'm not good enough. It always comes back to those core fears that somehow in some way I'm not good enough. And I have never found that to be the case. Out of the 15,000 sessions that I facilitated, which is probably more than that now because I do sessions every day. So out of the tens of thousands of sessions that I facilitated, it has never once been a result of somebody not being good enough, or smart enough, or capable enough, or talented enough, or passionate enough. It had to do, maybe we needed some more skills training, right? Maybe people needed a little bit more information or data or resources. But when it comes to who you are, that's never really the issue. The issue is that we have these beliefs that cause feelings that get in the way and hold us back. And when we understand what the belief is, we can upgrade that belief, because a belief is just an opinion. It's not a fact. So we can upgrade our beliefs. And when we upgrade our beliefs, then it allows us to upgrade how we're feeling. So we can go from fear to confidence. We can go from stress to hope. Right? If we have this belief that there's no light at the end of the tunnel and we're never going to get through this, well, you're going to feel despair. But if you're like, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and I feel excited now, and I have hope again, because I feel like I am moving towards, something that's better. With this pandemic, at least in the Midwest and the East Coast, the weather's getting nicer and we can get back outside again. I've been doing sessions outside in the backyard. You can move to your backyard and do some work outside. It'll feel like you have a cool office outdoors, and that will break it up. It'll break up the monotony, right? So, or hopefully this fall, when people are vaccinated, we'll be able to work from home, but also have more social gatherings, or come into the office a couple of days a week for the, water cooler talk, and just to connect with each other. And so, the measurements are saying, the KPIs are showing that productivity hasn't dropped. In fact, people are using the time that they would have spent driving to the office and stuff like that. They're using that to work more. So when people are working from home, the productivity is really the same. It's just the quality of life can improve because you can spend more time with your family. You don't have to spend as much time away from home. You don't have to drive. The only time the productivity suffers is when we're spending too much time working because we don't have a boundary now, because we're there all the time and we're having a hard time turning it off. And so then that's when people burn out, and that can harm productivity. And if people get too burned out, then they usually leave the job. And we don't want to do that. We want to keep people feeling inspired and keep people feeling encouraged. And we got to keep doing that for ourselves as well. And so we want to write down, what is the biggest fear that I have? And then, that's a belief. And remember, a belief is just an opinion. And then, okay, well, what would I rather believe instead? What would be an opinion that would make me feel hopeful, that would help me feel inspired? And then you start thinking, what would I want to believe? And when you ask that question, that's when the magic happens. That's when your brain switches gears, and it goes from finding all the reasons why things aren't going to work out to now finding all the reasons why it can work out. And when you ask a different question, it focuses what your reticular activating system in your brain focuses on. So when you start asking yourself, what would I rather believe? You're already halfway to your goal, right? Because now you're telling yourself, well, what I'd want to believe is that things are going to work out and there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and I do have the ability to make this happen, and I just need to rearrange my time a little bit. Maybe I take breaks every hour and a half. I set reminders on my phone or in Outlook, it'll have a little reminder pop up on my computer that, take a break, go get a glass of water, go outside, stretch your legs, go take a 20-minute power nap. Harvard researchers have said that if you take a 26-minute nap, it improves your brain functioning by 34%. Instead of pushing through and spending 8 to 10 hours at a time in front of a laptop, instead of getting up and moving, take a short nap in the middle of the afternoon, recharge your brain's batteries, and then come back, and you'll find yourself feeling more calm and more confident. Sneeze break. So when you are taking those times to recharge your batteries, you're going to feel better, right? So I live in Indianapolis, so I always use the analogy of Indy race cars. Indy race cars are high performance machines. They're built to spin, to zip around that track and go really, really fast and win races. However, they also have to take pit stops. When you actually stop, and they refuel, change the tires, those pit stops are just as important as going around that track super fast. Because if you don't take the pit stops, you don't finish the race. So it's just as important to take pit stops as it is to, pile through and drive through it. And so, and especially as you're getting older, if you're moving into your 40s or your 50s, just working harder isn't it. You got to work smarter, and working smarter means incorporating 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes into your day. So you get up, you move around. If you find that you are eating a lot because you're using food as a distraction, then you need to create more variety in your life. You want to have a little bit more adventure. So you get outside and you get some fresh air, you go for a walk, you watch some YouTube videos, you listen to some music, right? You call a friend, you create a little bit more variety through your day so that you're not feeling so, bored or burnt out that you're using food as your main distraction. And so I'll do a video talking about food and wellness specifically in one of these upcoming live streams, because people have such an issue with it. Many people have gained the COVID-19, right? They've gained 20 pounds, from just being in the house over the last 20 years. And so I'll give you some tips for how to improve your, your well-being and create a slimmer, happier, healthier body. So, but for now, we want to write down what is the biggest fear. And then step 2 is, what would you want to believe instead? What would be a belief that would empower you? Well, I have a belief that it's going to work out, that I'm going to reorganize my time, that I'm confident enough to be able to do this, and it's going to work out for me. And that will start to help you feel more empowered. Once you're feeling more resourceful, once you're in a resourceful state and you're feeling more confident and your mind's focusing on how you can get what you want and make it happen, and just by adjusting your approach, then you can ask yourself, all right, from this resourceful state of mind, what might I do to improve how I spend my time? Or what might I do to improve how I organize my time? And when you're in a more resourceful state, and you ask yourself that question, you'll come up with new answers. Or you could also do it this way: pretend that you are a supervisor for somebody who's having the same challenge that you used to have. And imagine they're coming up saying, hey, I'm having trouble getting organized. I'm having trouble figuring out how to use my time correctly, or in the best possible way. And then what advice would you give them in that situation, right? Well, what you could do is you realize that you've got a lot going on, and you're never going to be done. If you're working, you're never done. It's like the ocean is always going to send waves to the shore. It's never done sending waves. There's always going to be more waves, and you can't ride all the waves, right? So you ride the waves that you can. You ride the bigger waves. That's what prioritizing is. You focus on the high value activities, the stuff that's most important. And then the rest of the time, you just relax and float, because you can't ride all the waves. I am never going to be done checking emails, because every time I check 20 emails, there's another 20 emails that show up, and it happens every single day. So my goal in life is not to finish my emails. My goal is to enjoy my life, even though there's a whole bunch of emails there, right? So you're always going to have a pile, and as soon as you get that pile done, there's going to be another pile. So the goal isn't just to finish piles. The goal is to have a sense of peace while you're working through the piles, the projects, the to-do lists, because that's a never-ending deal. We want to make sure that we are getting from the day instead of getting through the day, because if you're always trying to get through the day, you're wasting your life away. We want to get from the day. So today I'm getting a walk in. Today I'm watching a funny video. Today I took a nap so that I could be more productive. Today I was able to feel more confident. So I looked at all the stuff I have going on. I asked myself, where is the highest priority? And then I focused on the highest priorities, and it made me feel like I was productive today. Because I know I'm never going to get all this done, but I do know that I'm going to be productive today. And at the end of the day, that's all you can do, is be as productive as you can be, right? And so as you're looking at all of this, it will help you to start to get the answers that you're seeking from you. Trust yourself. Too many people don't trust themselves, and they're always thinking that I got to find somebody outside of me for the answers. But when it comes down to it, the answers that you need are already inside of you. Now, when you go to others, some people are just really good at finding those answers, pulling them out of you and showing them to you, or feeding them back to you. That's what I do when I'm working with people. I ask them questions, and then they give me the wisdom. They'll give me their problem and their solution, and I just feed it back to them. And they're like, oh, that's brilliant. It's really good. And I'm like, yes, it is, because it came from you, and it'll be a perfect solution for you because it came from you. So we've got to trust ourselves. And once you are feeling resourceful, and then you're asking yourself a new set of questions, and then you're taking a look at what's going on, and you're just saying, all right, these are my high value priorities. This is what I'm going to take care of. And then I'm just going to keep doing these high value priorities. So I'm spending 80% of my time on the stuff that's most important. That's all. That's how you organize. That's all. That's how you use your time. Time management is really thought management. It's what you're saying to yourself. It's what you're focusing on. And when you are controlling how you think, and you're taking a look at everything that's going your way, and you keep yourself resourceful, then you can find those answers and decide, I'm going to go this direction, or I'm going to focus on this task, or I'm going to take this big goal and I'm going to break it into a bunch of small goals. And then I'm going to go after one milestone at a time. So I feel like I'm making progress by accomplishing these milestones. If I want to write a whole book and I'm telling myself I'm not going to feel good until that book is done, oh my goodness, I might not feel good for 6 months. That's too long to get a payoff. So what I might do is write a paragraph or a story, or try to get part of a chapter done, and that's a milestone. I get that chapter completed. Yay, I celebrate because I got something completed. A lot of times we just want to feel when we have, it's never ending, that we get something completed. You know, I just want to feel like I was productive today. Well, for that, you set milestones, you set mini projects, and those are things that you can control, that you can get done, right? And so when you're able to do that, sometimes I think of this metaphor of standing in a hole and it's raining and this mud and water is pouring down into the hole, and you got a bucket and you keep scooping up the mud and throwing it out. But because it's raining, the more mud keeps coming in. So you're scooping all day and you feel like you haven't really got anywhere with it. In that situation, what you do is you say, I'm going to scoop 20 buckets today, right? You're in a situation where you're going to scoop buckets. I'm going to scoop 20 buckets because that's what I can control. And when I hit 20 buckets, I'm going to feel proud of myself. Yes, is more coming in? Of course, because that's what happens. But I'm going to scoop those 20 buckets out. You decide to take control of what you can, and you let go of the rest. And then you describe the situation to yourself in a way that is uplifting, that empowers you, that is compassionate, that is supportive. We're also really tough on ourselves. And that's why it's so important to take breaks, to take those pit stops, to listen to some YouTube videos of inspiring people who are feeding inspiring messages to you. Because if all you're doing is working and then sitting there being in your own head, and then after work taking care of everybody else, and you're not taking care of yourself in that way, then you're never getting any of that inspiration. You're not getting any of that positive energy or that fuel for your mind that's going to keep you feeling up. So you've got to go get it, right? And now that we all have phones by us, we carry around these computers all the time. You have instant access to these motivational videos on YouTube. You just type in motivation and hit play, and you know, there's so many of them. If you don't like one, go to another one, and they have different topics and subjects and on discipline and motivation and believing in yourself and being tough or being resilient or being confident. It's everything you need is there. You listen to that when you get up in the morning, you feed your mind that good information. It puts you in a resourceful mood. You go and you get laser focused on your priorities, your milestones, the outcome that you want for today. And then you start going after it. And then you take a break after a couple hours, get up, stretch your legs, go outside, drink some water with lemon, right? Go for a walk, do 20 push-ups, do something that invigorates your body and gets you out of your brain for a little while. And then when you come back, you feel refreshed, you feel rested, you feel laser focused. And then that'll allow you to get more done in that next 2 hours than you would have if you were tired and just pushing through it. Imagine an Indy race car that doesn't take the pit stops, trying to keep up with everybody else on bad tires and no gas and a tired driver. It's just not going to work out, right? And so we got to make sure that we're taking the pit stops and we're recharging our batteries so that when you come back to it, you feel refreshed, you feel focused, you feel inspired, so that you're having breaks through the day as well, so that at the end of the day, you're not feeling exhausted, you're not emotionally shut down or drained for everybody else in your life. And it creates a feeling of joy so that you are getting from the day instead of just getting through the day. And as you do this, you will find that every day in every way, you just start feeling better and better. You'll find yourself feeling more organized. You'll find that you're making a better use of your time because you can keep adjusting your schedule until this is the exact kind of schedule that works best for me and my personality. And that will make you feel really good. It will increase your quality of life. And you can do that. You don't have to wait around for anybody else to do that. You can do this. And especially if you're working from home, it gives you an opportunity that might not have ever been there before for you to make the rest of your life the best of your life. Okay, so remember, make it a mission to get from the day, not just through the day, to get yourself into a resourceful state of mind before you do anything else. And then to get yourself resourceful, you got to upgrade the beliefs of what you're thinking and what you're secretly telling yourself. Upgrade your beliefs first. Once you get into that resourceful state of mind, then you can come back and say, all right, now, how would I strategize this? How would I use my time? And if you still need a little help, Google best ways to maximize my time. And you're going to find 100 videos on the subject and watch a couple of them and get some new ideas and implement them and find out if they work for you. If you need a little bit more advanced help or faster help, then you can reach out to me and I will do a coaching session with you and get you on track quickly. If you're a leader of a company, a lot of companies have been bringing me in to do one-on-one sessions. They'll say, hey, who wants some one-on-one coaching for 20 or 30 minutes? And then with the top success coach, and then people will volunteer, and then they love it because they can ask whatever questions they want and then get immediate feedback that they can start to implement right away. It is a newer model of coaching. Instead of just doing a bunch of group coaching, providing short, laser focused one-on-one sessions for employees is amazing, right? Because someone like me can help people bust through obstacles and mental blocks that they have faster than their manager or supervisor, because I got 32 years of psychology experience. And so I understand the mind inside out, and will be able to help people make breakthroughs with whatever challenges they have. So if you are interested in that, reach out and let me know. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what shows up. What matters is how you show up. And so you can use these skills and these insights and use the number one method for organizing your time and improving your productivity by upgrading your unconscious beliefs. And when you do that, your life's going to be a sure success. If you're interested in the other live videos on self-discipline or lowering anxiety, I'm creating these every Wednesday at 3:30 p.m., 12:30 p.m. on Pacific time. And if you ever have any questions or you need anything, then reach out and let me know, or leave comments and I will answer them. I see Mr. ATG is with us, so thanks for being with us, Mr. ATG. That's awesome. And thanks so much for checking this out. Make sure you share it with your friends, and we will see you next Wednesday. Thanks so much. Have a great day.